US Defense Secretary Hegseth laid out his view, and he made clear that he was speaking on behalf of the President of the United States, of the current situation in Ukraine. His comments raised alarm among a number of partners as he made clear that US troops would not offer security guarantees, that there was an expectation that the lion's share of support to Ukraine would come from Europe, and that the US was reposturing to other theatres. Now, while that has led to significant discomfort in Ukraine and among its partners, and that discomfort is justified, many concessions were made in that speech to the Russians before negotiations have even begun, which is not necessarily the best approach to talks if you are trying to preserve a position. What he said has been understood to be not only the position of the Trump administration, but also, in many areas, consistent with the previous administration for a long period of time. It might not have been said publicly, but there is more consistency than change in the contents of what was delivered. And therefore, what really changed yesterday was not US policy, but rather in the capacity for Europeans to continue to work with the illusion that reality was otherwise. The question that arose tomorrow, therefore, is not so much one to ministries of defense in Europe, where the threat has been clear for some time, but rather to Europe's treasuries, which is, are we able to make the resources available to allow European states to hold up our own security, including Ukraine's? Are we actually prepared to put the money behind our rhetoric in the commitments that we have made to Kiev? And if we are not prepared to do that, then there is going to be a divergence between what we say we want and reality. And so the real question that was posed, not to the ministries of defense around Europe, but to our treasuries, is whether we are serious about our own defense. And that is a question now which, between the Munich Security Conference and the forthcoming NATO summit in June, capitals around Europe are going to have to give very clear answers.